All right. What's happening? Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Let's chop it up about UFC 247, Toyota Center, Houston, Texas, Saturday night, February 8th. And we've got Johnny Bones Jones defending his light heavyweight strap against the undefeated Dominic Reyes. We're coming to you on Thursday afternoon. Excuse me, it's about a quarter after 3 Eastern. And right now, most books have Jones installed as a favorite. I see the lowest price that I'm seeing is pretty much minus 450 at 5 dimes. Actually, Sport Bet has minus 437. The most generous underdog payout I see is plus 360 at 5 dimes. There's plus 350 at Bet Online, Bovada, William Hill's plus 320. The over-under is 2.5 rounds, shaded to the over at a minus 150 price. The under is plus 130 odds for under 2.5 rounds. So obviously that is mid-third, 2.5 minutes left. If it ends right on 2.5 minutes of the third, it's a push, no play, what have you. Okay, so I was just doing the Sharp 600 pod with Rob Cressy talking about UFC 247. And he was asking me about, some of the legends, when they finally lost. Did I see it coming, et cetera, et cetera? And what did I see coming? Well, I didn't see Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey coming. I did not see that coming. Well, I will say I didn't see it coming pre-fight. During the fight, in that first exchange they had the first 15 seconds, I was with a crowd of about 8 people and nobody noticed. I go, she's hurt. Because you could see her whole face just went pink. And then they had another exchange. I go, and I had already stood up. I go, she's hurt. She's in trouble. And everybody in the room was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, look at her face. Look, she's already swollen. And she was. I was right. She got hurt on that very first punch she ate of Holly's. Now, did I see the Weidman-Anderson coming? Sorta. Right when Rob asked me that question on that pod, I remembered immediately my headline that I wrote. I go, I had written the article for Vegas Insider, but then I was just posting my picks on BrianEdwardsSports.com, and I wrote the headline that day, the day of the fight. I'd written my Vegas Insider preview the day before, but I wrote that day, I go, will Father Time finally catch Anderson Silva tonight? And I'm not saying it was his age and Father Time that did caught him, but let's all remember Father Time is undefeated. And I'm not looking at it right now. I believe Anderson was 38. And look, I'm sure many people will say, they were kind of 2 fluky losses. Actually, one was Anderson's fault. He shouldn't have been, you weren't fighting Stephan Bonner that night. He shouldn't have been dropping his hands and putting his face like that. That's when he got caught and lost. And then on the gnarly broken leg, which is outside of Marcus Lattimore, that was probably the grossest injury I've ever watched in real time. But you just have to credit Weidman for that. He checked that kick. That broke his leg, and that's. Nobody wanted him to be injured that badly, obviously, but that was just good on Weidman. But I don't think we're dealing with Father Time with Jones. He's 32, not 38. He's missed a good chunk of his prime for various suspensions. So I would say on one hand, I would say he's a young 32 because he didn't fight as often as he could have from whenever he, from like what, 14, 15 to like 18. Well, hell, he only fought, how many times did he fight last year? Once, Gustafson, and then when was the Alves fight? Actually, that was last year too, wasn't it? Anywho, well, here, I got it right here. I can tell you. Yeah, Alves was, or no, Thiago Alves, Thiago Santos. Oh my God, I hope I didn't say Thiago Alves on the cover of Sharp 600 pod. Anyhow, that was July 6th. Okay, he did fight twice last year, and he fought December of 18. But it had been a year and a half prior to that. Okay, so yeah. So on one hand, I don't think we're dealing with father time with Jones, who's in his prime. On the flip side of that, though, maybe he's lived a hard 32 years. We know he's been partying a lot the last decade and change. So, and I still think he drinks a lot. I still think he smokes weed daily. I don't know if he's partying with the hard stuff these days, or at least not as much as he used to be. And even then, he would party the week of fights and go 5 rounds and win. So, but what is slightly familiar to this Reyes and Jones compared to Weidman Silva 1 is that Weidman was an up-and-coming, undefeated, brimming with confidence, had multiple just bloody first-round wins by beatdown finishes, and Reyes actually did that to Weidman last time out. I was in Vegas. It was Florida, South Carolina weekend. So what is that to say? Like mid-October, I think it was. And it was UFC Boston Friday night, and he took care of business. One thing I want to point out about this fight, Reyes has 12 career fights, 12-0, 9 first-round knockouts. So he's only gone past the first round 3 times. And those were all 3 decisions, but 3-round fights. So if it gets to round 4, he's never been there. I did not count up, but I mean, we count them up in our head, really. Went the distance with Cormier, OSP, Thiago Santos. Man, I think I did say Thiago Alves on that other pod. Damn it. Who else did he go the distance with? Anthony Smith. Whatever. He's been the distance a bunch. Oh, Gustafson the first time. And yeah. So Reyes will have never been that far. And really, if it gets to the second round, he's only been there 3 times. So, but now part of that is kudos to him because he is finishing SOBs in round 1. And that's impressive. And, you know, the only fighters that have been the same size of Jones, talking about height, now nobody's got his reach. Reyes is 77.5 inch reach. Jones is a whopping 84, which is just insane. But Reyes, I mean, I just watched the stare downs, and they faced him off at that presser a month or so back. He's not giving any size away. He's giving reach away. He's not giving any size away. So we've got that going. The Gustafson fight, which was Jones's toughest by far ever. Gustafson had the same size as him. And then really just OSP. And that's really it. Cormier obviously way shorter. You know, Anthony Smith shorter. Santos shorter by several inches. So I think Jones is in for a dogfight. Now, am I about to call for the upset? No, I'm not calling for the upset. But I think Johnny Bones Jones is going to get punched a bunch. I think he's going to take some shots. we'll see. He doesn't always bring his A game, but he always does enough to win. I think he's gonna have to dig deep Saturday night. And usually when he has to dig deep, he usually comes up with something special. So we'll see. We shall see. Just a few things on Reyes. If you're not that familiar with him, his toughest fight was Volkan Ozdemir. That was 2 fights ago. It was a split decision. I had Ozdemir in that fight. I thought I had a decent chance to win it. I thought they were very close rounds, but it didn't go my way. Now, he has a first round KO of Jared Cannonier. Now, Cannonier has gone down to middleweight, where he's killing it. But Cannonier is a hell of a fighter. You get a first round KO over him, that's a nice feather in your cap. Let's see. He beat OSP by decision. So that's a common opponent they have. And Jones also beat OSP in a decision, which was a terrible fight. It was so boring. OSP just wouldn't let it go, and Jones wasn't much better that night. So under at plus 130, maybe, I don't know. So many Jones fights, he doesn't go for the kill early, and I don't know if he's going to go for the kill early. Reyes might go for the kill early. Plus 130 is not enough for under 2.5 rounds. Plus 160, maybe I give it some thought. All right, I don't like much on this card. We got Valentina. She's so heavily favored over Caitlin Chookagian, who's hot. And Chookagian has a nice little reach advantage. Thought I wrote it down. She's got a reach advantage. I want to say Chookagian is 5'9" and Valentina's 5'5". But look, Valentina's only losses way back before she even got the UFC. A doctor stoppage for a TKO against Liz Carmouche, and she just avenged that loss in her last title shot. And then she lost 2 very, 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 very close decisions to the queen, the lioness, the baddest chick on the planet, Amanda Nunes. And those fights were very close. And I don't know when we're going to get a Shevchenko Nunes 3 at some point. Maybe if Shevchenko gets a highlight reel knockout like she had against Jessica Evil Eye 2 fights ago, maybe we get Nunes and Shevchenko 3 next, because Amanda doesn't have a fight right now, does she? No, she doesn't. And I think she was taking some time off after she just beat Durandamy. So I'm telling you, they put 2 title fights at the top of this card, and then they just threw the Black Beast on there, and then they just were like, all right. Because my depth of knowledge beyond those fights is not much. I mean, obviously, I've seen Mirsad Bektic fight and Dan Ige. That's a pretty good featherweight fight. I lean Bektic at nowhere north of minus 140. It's minus 130 to minus 140. I wouldn't lay more than minus 140, and that's a small opinion. Now, a 3-fight parlay won't even quite get even money, but I think it's got a good shot, and that's Shevchenko, Jones, and my man Derrick Lewis at around minus 230. Obviously, I don't lay straight prices north of, I mean, occasionally a minus 150. I don't really like to, but I definitely don't lay one north of 200, minus 200. So I'm not doing that with Derrick Lewis, but we can get the Black Beast at, oh, wow. Oh, whoa. I'll see. Okay. I'm seeing these new over-unders out. Okay. No, I like the Black Beast under 1.5 rounds at plus 120 at Bet DSI, plus 105 and a bunch of other spots. Under 1.5 rounds on the Black Beast and Latifi. Latifi's lost back-to-back fights at light heavyweight. He's going up to heavyweight for the first time, but he's a big boy. He can handle himself at heavyweight. Latifi, big-time power. Big-time power. Doesn't move that great. He's pretty strong in the clinch and pretty good wrestling, but he ain't going to be stronger than Black Beast. And against his last fight, Igor, I always forget how to pronounce his name. I need to see it spelled, and then I can pronounce it. So let me, Blagoy Ivanov. In that fight, which I about had a stroke when it went to split decision because I was pretty heavily invested in Lewis. I thought Lewis beat the brakes off him. I don't know how it went to split decision. That was his first fight since he had gotten the nutritionist, lost like 25 pounds. He cut out cheeseburgers, cut out fries. I think Black Beast realized if he still wants this income stream, he's 34 now. He's got to get serious. So he's in much better shape. He looks great. He looks better than I've ever seen him look. And I think Derrick Lewis is going to win by knockout. And you can get that prop for, it was minus 125 earlier. Let's see. Yeah, it's still minus 125. What is the inside the distance? Minus 130. But Lewis isn't. He's not doing these submissions. I don't even know if he has a submission his whole career. So there you go. And that's really what I like. Now, I'll give you another one. Juan Adams and Justin Tafa, heavyweights, under 1.5 rounds, minus 115. So there you are. There's some plays. Jones, Shevchenko, Lewis, 3-fight parlay. It pays back almost even money. Under 1.5 for a small plus on Lewis and Latifi. And then Juan Adams and Justin Tafa, under 1.5 rounds, minus 115. And I kind of like Bektik in the minus 135 neighborhood. Not a strong opinion. If you want to throw Bektik into that 4-fight parlay, not against it. It'll certainly help you get paid some odds. All right, where are we on time? Do we have a minute to look at some future numbers out there? Not much, but let's see. I will just tell you that at Sportsbook right now, the potential Conor McGregor-Habib rematch, Habib minus 330, Conor plus 250. UFC 249, April 18th, Tony Ferguson, El Kukui against the Eagle, Habib Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov minus 225 at Sportsbook. El Kukui plus 180 on the comeback. Let's see. Adesanya's minus 220 at 5 dimes against Romero. That's UFC 248, March 7th. And, I think Nate possibly could be next for Conor. I think it's going to be either Nate or Gaethje. It's not going to be Masvidal. They're going to do Masvidal, Usman. But at William Hill right now, Conor's minus 250 against Nate, plus 175. And Usman is minus 240 to Masvidal, plus 190. That's at Bovada. And there we go. Good luck with your picks. Enjoy the show. Saturday night, Toyota Center, Houston, Texas, UFC 247. Will Johnny Bones Jones finally get his ass beat? I sure hope so, but I doubt it. Brian Edwards, MajorWager, BrianEdwardsMajorWager.com. I'm out.